City News on TV Rotorua is proudly brought to you by Rotorua Central.
Good evening, Rotorua. Tonight on City News. Bay of Plenty Regional Council is looking for public submissions on the next 10 years of its long-term plan. The Ride to Recycle cleans up our bike trails as part of the Rotorua Bike Festival, and the local creative community is being asked for input into the development of a creative strategy for the district. But first, Rotorua Lakes Councillor Charles Sturt says he's encouraging locals interested in the review of council representation arrangements to put their names forward for the Review Working Party. The review is a requirement of the Local Electoral Act and is undertaken every 6 years. Mr Sturt says the Working Party is to be made up of 3 councillors and 3 community representatives.
We're charged with looking at how we vote, how many councillors. We can bring the issue of Maori wards, although we've already made that decision. For future elections we can get the public's opinion in terms of that. The actual method of voting, whether it's online or a combination of online and postal, etc, etc, and where Rotorua should head over the next 5 to 10 years in terms of its representation. This is a separate kaupapa altogether to the Te Arawa proposal. The Te Arawa proposal is just for Te Arawa. This representation review is for the whole district.
And expressions of interest from the community on joining the review of council's representation arrangements can be made to the Rotorua Lakes Council. Bay of Plenty Regional Council is releasing its plans for the next 10 years and is calling for residents' opinion and input. The Council's long-term plan 2015 to 25 will be finalised in June and will set out key challenges for the Bay of Plenty and how they will be tackled. The Council's consultation document, Thriving Together, which summarises the issues, has been officially notified and is now open tomorrow for submissions. Regional Council Chairman Doug Leader says the Council has agreed on 5 key community outcomes for the region, including water quality and quantity, environmental protection, resilience and safety, regional collaboration, and leadership and economic development. The consultation document will be available from libraries, any regional council office, and online at boprc.govt.nz/long-term plan. Anyone can make a submission online or by post before the 20th of March. Another successful Ride to Recycle event was held this week, with riders cleaning up more of our world-renowned bike tracks and trails.
Today's Ride to Recycle was in collaboration with Rotorua Bike Festival, which has kicked off this week, and I've attended some myself and it's been amazing. So we've had really good turnout today. This is about our 4th Ride to Recycle event that we've done, and it's a really good way to give emphasis about keeping our cycleways and walking ways free of litter. We do have huge events in Rotorua, and it's really, when you see that on the side of the road, if you're commuting or riding, you notice it straight away. So it leaves an impression for our tourists and visitors, and that's where Ride to Recycle come about.
Rotorua's creative community is being asked for input into the development of a creative strategy for the district. A forum dubbed Boil Up is being held next month to share and brainstorm ideas for a strategy to guide Rotorua Lakes Council's creative portfolio, which is being led by Councillor Glenys Sarank. The strategy will be a blueprint for creatively developing the city in support of the Rotorua 2030 vision. Councillor Sarank says Rotorua's creative community will provide a significant contribution to the strategy, and she was looking forward to some dynamic dialogue at Boil Up. To sign up for the event, register at Eventbrite, with all registrations going into a draw to win grocery vouchers valued at $150, which will be drawn during Boil Up. In sport tonight, the Chiefs have named their side for tomorrow's night's second round Super Rugby match against the Brumbies. All Blacks Liam Messam and Aaron Cruden come into the starting 15, as does former international Jose Aguirre. In total, Chiefs coach Dave Rennie has made 6 changes to the starting side originally named to face the Blues last week. The Chiefs take on the Brumbies in New Plymouth. Kick-off is at 7:35 p.m. To your weather update now. Tonight will be fine with light winds and an overnight low of 11. Tomorrow, Friday, fine spells with light winds, a high of 25 and a low of 13. And looking out to Saturday, fine spells with afternoon showers, light winds, a high of 24 and a low of 14. The marine forecast for Lake Rotorua for Friday, variable 5 knots but northeast to 10 knots for a time during the afternoon, with waves less than half a metre, and there'll be fine spells. Still to come in tonight's program, we're at the library to find out about the Rotorua Photo Kete competition, as well as check out their digital resources. And we have highlights from Sunday's Art in the Park at Government Gardens.
Kia ora everybody, welcome back to City News. We're at the library now and I'm with Amanda Hemara, who's going to be telling me about a very special essay competition coming up shortly. Kia ora Amanda.
Kia ora.
Kei te pēhea koe?
Kei te pai.
Ka pai. I just asked how she was. She said she's very good, thank you very much. So tell me a little bit about your role here at the library first.
Well, I'm a youth education librarian and my role is to help any person who comes in with a query. In this case, with World War I, I'm going to be helping students who have entered a competition with their research.
Wow, so how old are the students?
The students are year 7 and 8, intermediate schools from within this area.
Ah, they're little firecrackers, aren't they? I've been out to Rotorua Intermediate and they're at this beautiful stage between kids and adults where they're really, they take things in and you can affect their heart. So this kind of project is, I would imagine, going to have a really lingering, beautiful effect on them and perhaps a little bit of consideration for what happened during the First World War.
Absolutely.
So what are your hopes for this program, this essay competition and helping?
I'm hoping that they will learn a very important aspect in New Zealand's history, and that is the role that was carried out by all those who supported the war effort in some way, whether they were nurses, soldiers, volunteers, or even conscientious objectors. It's also important that we know our history, because so that we can remember those between 1915 and 1918 who gave up their lives. To help us to move on with ours.
I was down at the RSA last week. If some of you have seen City News last week, we were down there visiting, and there is a real sense of honour and camaraderie and respect down there. Beautiful memorabilia. If you haven't been down, go down and have a look. Tell me what young people are drawn to the most. Is it the adventure, not that, you know, going overseas, young people going overseas for the first time? Is it the tragedy? Is it, what is it that, or is it a combination of things?
I do agree with you. For those soldiers who first went and served in World War I, they actually went on an adventure. That's really what it was all about. However, a lot of them never came home and they realised after a couple of months that it wasn't an adventure at all, no. For our young students who do enter this competition, I think they will enjoy the diaries more so, and the photos of these soldiers.
Can you tell me a little bit about that, about the diaries or the information that you're going to be able to show them and what it means to you?
We have diaries that are written by local servicemen here, and they begin from day one, what the weather was like, who they were with, such as their parents, mother, sister, brother. However, 3 months down the track, it becomes a bit more gloomy and dark, to the point where they're missing mum, they're missing home, and reality hits you immediately.
Very, very powerful stuff, and I can feel the emotion even talking about it. It's so much more than just an essay, isn't it? It's an exploration of the human spirit. Absolutely. And what matters.
Yes, yeah. So we're hoping that the students will select a soldier or any person. We have many nominal roles here with a book based on military list from the Expeditionary Force, so we can make it easier for them. They can select a name, and then from there we can show them the Auckland Museum Cenotaph database, which have more detail, such as where they lived, who their next of kin was, what they were doing before they went to war, and what they did after war if they did come back.
Kia ora, thank you so much. So if you're interested, or maybe you have a child that might be interested in getting involved with this competition, how can we do that, Amanda?
We will be holding World War I workshops every Thursday between 3:30 and 4:30 p.m. So the students may like to start at the museum and end at the library. We encourage you all to come along with your questions about researching World War I, and I'll see you there.
Yeah,
It'll
wonderful.
be a great way to engage.
Absolutely. So you'd love parents to come down as well. Come down, because what an experience, especially if you have somebody in your whānau who was involved in that in any way. Yes. What a wonderful experience. Thank you so much, Amanda, for your time, and I'd be really interested to come back and meet the winner and find out about, the process that they go through. So, ngā mihi nui ki a koe.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. Kia ora everybody, we're at the library now and I'm joined by Alison Lee, who's got an amazing new initiative here and we're all going to benefit from it. It's an online resource. What's it called, Alison?
It's called Ki Te Rotorua.
Yes, Ki Te Rotorua. Ka pai. So first of all, before we start talking about Ki Te Rotorua, can you just tell us what your role here is at the library?
Okay, my role is at the moment is a new role. It's called Digital Information Librarian. Because we know that in the future there's going to be a lot more digital resources out there, and we've got a lot of treasures in our Don Stafford room which need to be digitised. So that's going to be my role, is digitising basically the treasures, and within copyright, of course.
So that's going to be really great for you, because you're going to be taking all of this in. Yes. It's going to be going into your computer before it goes into the other one. So it's going to be quite an adventure for you. Are you excited?
Yeah, very excited, yes.
Do you have something in there that is of particular interest to you? You mentioned there's quite a few treasures in the Don Stafford room. Is there one in particular, or a few that you really like?
Probably the Rotorua Photo News, which is a magazine that was put out in the 1960s. It shows Rotorua around the time I was born, which is, to me, is very interesting. I was never interested in it when I was a child, but now it means something to me. And we have quite a large collection there, which we will be digitising. Yeah.
So the Don Stafford room, can people come up and access that freely, or do they need to be accompanied?
No, they can come up and go into the room. It is a room where we ask for no food or drink and no bags, simply because it's precious material in there, and we'd like to keep it as good as we can, within the fact that materials do deteriorate. So it is a especially air-conditioned room, to the temperature for the books. So people do find it a bit cold. If you're studying, please bring a jacket.
Don't forget the jacket, very important. Thank you for that tip. So with the Don Stafford room being, as it is, the treasure trove of the library, and the process of digitising it, you're also asking people in the Rotorua community to contribute, aren't you? Can you tell me about that?
So the Rotorua community, there's a lot of people out there, mums and dads, who took photos in their childhood and their children's childhood, and those photos are important to the social history of this community. So those are the photos that we'll be putting onto our online archive, and it's there for the community to actually look back and see how we were, how Rotorua has progressed. There's been so many changes in my lifetime that, for me, looking at the 1960s, it's like a whole different world. And I find that really interesting, and I know other people do too.
Very, and there's something about all of the old photos. It's a bit like watching old videos of your family. It brings up a warm, fuzzy feeling and a sense of belonging, because that you're born and bred here. So what a wonderful experience for anyone from Rotorua. What are you hoping people will get out of this experience and this resource?
I think at the moment, with the photo hunt, what we're wanting is for people who have memories that go with the photos to actually tell us those memories as well, so that in the future generations of their own families, they can find that information. Because a lot of families, they wait till a person's gone and then they sort of think, oh, we should have asked. And so what we're trying to do is to get that information, people's personal feelings and emotions around Rotorua, so that in the future, 50 years from now, someone's going to look back and say, oh, hey, that was something that matters to me.
So for anybody that would like to be involved or contribute to Kite Rotorua, how can they do that?
Okay, so we've got the information is online, but please do come into the service desk. We have entry forms and there's a loan agreement, which just allows you some peace of mind to knowing that we're going to look after your photographs. And then we'll scan them and they'll be given back. The competition runs from now until the 9th of March, and then we'll have our 3 independent judges who will look at the photographs and make a choice, and there will be a tablet as a prize for the one that they choose, and then we'll have a little ceremony at the end of March.
Well, there you go, everybody. Just one prize, but so many riches, and a prize for everybody at the end, because you get a great, big, wonderful resource. Kite Rotorua. Don't forget about the competition on until the 9th of March. So have a look in your attics, have a look in the boxes under the bed, go around to Nanny and Koro's house, Granddad, Grandma, and see if they have something. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for the interview, but also for the work that you're doing to put all of this history online.
Yeah.
What a special role. Ngā mihi nui kia koe. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
highlights there from Sunday's Art in the Park at Government Gardens, thanks to our cameraman Graham Jones. To contact City News, you can phone the station on 07 3488 984 or email news@tvrotorua.co.nz. Thanks for watching tonight. From all the team at City News, ko Maria.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
City News on TV Rotorua was proudly brought to you by Rotorua Central.